get my next pneumonia shot then.
I'm up on my pneumonia shot. I just took my flu shot. My
We've got 6 o'clock. I think that's true.
We're gonna try. Hopefully, so will. Tim, waiting on Tim. We got everybody here. Let's call this meeting of the Jefferson County Board of Zoning Appeals to order. If you would bow your heads, I'm going to open this with a word of prayer, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you thanking you for the day you blessed us with, allowing us to live, the health and the ability that we've had, dear God, to go and do the things we've done, and we just pray you're pleased with those. And dear God, as we have this meeting of the Board of Zoning Appeals tonight, I just pray that you be with us, that you would guide us, guide the citizens that's here to be cordial and kind to each other and to make good decisions, dear God. And just may you be pleased with this, Lord. I ask, dear God, that you would also help us to keep in mind the holiday season we're entering into and just help us to think about what it really means, Lord. We love you and we thank you, God, for everything. Most of all, we thank you for your Son. We ask these things and give you thanks in Christ's precious name. Amen. Amen. Would you lead us in the pledge?
I will.
Terry?
Salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I trust you've received your packets and had an opportunity to look at the minutes and read those. And if there's no corrections or amendments to those, I'd entertain an order to approve.
Motion to approve.
I have proper motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second. All those in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed likewise. Motion passes. Do we have any citizens input tonight? I hadn't checked. I'm sorry, Stephanie. No citizens input. We'll move on to the next item on the agenda. It's appealing the decision of the zoning officer regarding a record service in A1 property by Chris and Vicky. And please help me with this. I want to make sure I get MASH. Just like MASH. Okay, good deal. Okay. Would you like to speak to this, sir?
Sorry, I've got a little something I'd like to say. I just want everybody to understand that when my wife went to the zoning office in October to be on the November agenda, we were asking for a variance for our towing business. But, since coming to the meeting, we've learned that, others would come and ask for a variance for whatever their issue was. But somehow it's got wrote up in public notice, we're challenging the zoning officer's, decision. It kind of appears and feels like we're being personally discriminated against. With that said, I feel like we give more than enough proof in November to show that, we were doing the business before the 98 zoning, and we've been continued doing the business ever since.
Okay.
Well, I don't know what kind of variance you're talking about.
We just assumed that, we see them come in asking for variances, and that's what we were asking for.
No, there's no variance on that.
Okay.
I'll tell you how it happened. I guess it's been 7-8 months ago now since you and Vicki come in and asked me about a run the record business. Maybe in spring.
It's been a while, yeah.
And he wanted to know if he could. I know Chris has had a rollback for years, and
I just never been on the rotation list or
yeah,
anything.
he's been driving a truck for, you told me,
Yeah.
16 years.
Yeah, it's over that.
Over the road,
But
and,
doing the truck, I picked up vehicles too with
Well,
my
I
with the
didn't
road
know
truck.
that,
Yeah.
and I told him, and to have a record business, you gotta be in C2 property. And him and Vicki, I assume, went around or looked for some, because she
We've
came back
tried.
in later,
Yeah.
and said, you thought
The
you
problem
had a deal
is-
with- Who was it in Newmarket? Who was it in Newmarket you thought you had a deal with?
The property down there that
I forgot the guy's name.
Carpenter had. James
James
Carpenter.
Carpenter, yeah.
That's the
And then
problem.
it fell
We-
through or something?
Yeah,
right?
it fell through, and we even looked at buying a place, but
Yeah.
it's just not financially for
Well, and
us.
I understand that, and I told you I'd help any way I could, but
You
then
know.
Vicki came in and said, you're gonna appeal the decision.
No, well, she was asking for a variance is what
There's
we were
no
asking.
variance.
Well, see, we didn't know that. We just assumed with what we seen come to these
You would
meetings.
have to appeal my decision,
Okay.
what you would have to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the only
I just thought that's,
Okay. I just feel like, we was doing it years before the zoning law went into effect. I just never been on a city-county rotation, didn't want to do with it, but now the road trucks have been gone now. This is my priority main business. Over the years, I brought cars in and parked them there for people.
well, that's what you're here for,
You
to
know.
prove to this board that you've done it.
I
that
want to
long.
build a
Did you have-
fence.
Did you have a business license at that address?
I've never had a business license. Back in 2010, find the paperwork here. The county had sent me something here, and I had got in touch with them. Matter of fact, it was 2010, June the 22nd. I spoke to Cynthia, but most of my stuff was crossing state lines. That was on a tax deal, yeah, for commercial taxes. And he said I was exempt, and nothing was ever said about a business
She
license.
works for tax.
Yeah, nothing was never said about business license, And if that's what I need to do, I'll do that.
Well, and I told Chris and Vicki, and I've known them for years, I would never tell them nothing wrong. In my 25 years here, we've had to move 3 different record services into commercial property.
Well, one issue that bothered me, you made a comment about one there, I'm not gonna name no names, but, he's supposed to be grandfathered in,
Kate's the one I know of.
and, well, like I said, I don't mention no names, but in 2007, he was renting a building up behind Cherokee Towing, because I bought the lift out of his shop when he was going through his divorce.
Where he's at's all I can.
Yeah, well, he never done it there in all them years, his brother
He did
did,
that
his
before I
brother
did.
did.
Yeah.
But I don't want to drag anybody in the middle of nothing,
Yeah,
I'm just
I don't
saying.
blame you, but we
And I
had-
feel that you can have a record business and it not gotta look like a junkyard or a dump site.
This board is You know, they've
Yeah.
said it's gotta be commercial, and that's what I gotta go by.
You know, I feel like, you know, I should, you know, when we spoke, you said I was grandfathered in, but I couldn't put a sign up,
No,
I couldn't get on the
what I meant by
rotation
that
list.
was, once we get you a place in commercial, you could drive your truck home. That's what they voted on that several years ago. You gotta be able to drive your truck.
Yeah, I've always had the
roll
trucks
back
there.
home. Yeah,
I've
I
always
know.
had the trucks there.
But your business.
The
if
business
it's
has always been right
commercial,
there, though.
But not
That's
officially.
what you gotta prove to this
Business license.
bunch.
That's why I asked about that, because that would establish the grandfather, if you prove that you've had a business license.
Now, I've never had a business license, because,
How else?
you know, nobody's ever said nothing about it.
Well, that wouldn't be me.
Yeah, I know that,
Yeah.
but I think I feel that we give more than enough proof, you know.
Just for purposes of the record, Mr. Mash, I need for the board to do, because the process, and it might not have been explained to you, if you're appealing the decision, you present the proof, which you have, and then the board can ask you questions, and so for purposes of that record, I need to be sure that we have all of the information. And you said you didn't have a business tax license. When did you, and I don't know any of this, when did you first get your CDL?
Oh, God, I don't remember back when I first got it. It was in the 90s. But you don't have to have a CDL to do this.
No, I know, but
Yeah.
do you have one?
Yes, I have a CDL.
But you don't recall when exactly?
No,
you
it
got
was sometime in the mid-90s. I started out doing the tow and repossession in sometime in 92. I was doing it part-time. I was working at Jefferson Chain in the welding shop. Sometime, I don't remember, 93, 94, I walked away from the job there and went full-time with that. And then I was doing it, drove a school bus for a while. Then I went dump trucking, local, and still doing the towing.
The business address, is it 1081?
1081 McGuire Road. It originally was Route 2, Box 304, East Newmarket. We've been there 35 so years.
Is that the overhead of the McGuire Road property and the tax card?
Yes.
Now, with respect to the McGuire Road property, my understanding, and you correct me if I'm wrong, was this was this your wife's family's
Yes,
property for a while?
yes, it was transferred, I think, around 2000 to me and my wife's name when we built the house. We had a mobile home there since, actually, I think it's February of '88. We got married in April and moved in.
Yeah, and I had and that's what I'm trying to clarify for
Yeah.
the board, to make sure. Now, as I understand it, the property, or at least you and your wife purchased that property, was it from her mom and dad?
No, it was gifted to her as a graduation present. They just never did change it over till, I guess they want to make sure that marriage would, I guess, last is the best way to put it. You know.
Is that the warranty deed, I guess the family gift or the family sale, and there's a survey on the back?
Yes, I believe that's it. Now, this here don't show there's an attachment to this property.
There's another piece of property.
Well, it's a quarter acre. Pop had us put it as attachment. We've actually got 3 acres there at that property.
And was it James that was
James,
Got the-
that was my wife's father.
with a quarter?
No, well, we got that from James, her brother, James Omer.
And you had mentioned that home, y'all had put a home there.
Yeah, we put a mobile home there, then in 2000, we started building the house.
There was about the same time as that purchase, there was a trust deed that was recorded. I want to be sure this is the same one. Regarding a home that was purchased from Family Homes Incorporated on Clinton
Yeah,
Highway.
that's the home they built for us.
And the trust deed what kind of home was that?
That is a stick-built, 1,512 square foot, 3-bedroom home.
And that would be the package, was it purchased from family, what is that called? Family,
It was family homes. They were down on Clinton Highway. They, all they done was built the house.
and was that a stick-built house?
Yes, built on site, stick built.
And with respect to that survey that I had attached, was that done by Eddie Garrett? Do you still have that?
This survey, I believe, was done by, Lord, what was their names over in Jefferson? Her. Yeah,
Let me make sure I got the right one.
yeah, it should be Johnny Kirk done this survey. No, it says Garrett.
Yeah.
Garrett didn't do this. Yeah, but he didn't survey ours. No, Kerr's the one done the survey, and I don't know why this says Garrett.
But what I'm saying is at least that survey that was attached to that warranty deed
Okay.
is that right? I mean, that says Garrett on it.
Yeah, yeah, it was, we used Garrett to do some other property, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago.
And the other tract that you're talking about, that was James, was it, where is it? You just stand there. If I'm looking at the survey,
Trying to think right here. It's right here on this corner right here. There's a quarter acre. It's like a
slip,
pyramid. What it was, we bought it from her brother. So we know when we, no, we bought that from Jimmy, so we know when we know we own a point to the woods. We bought that to know, hey, when you get to the woods, stop,
now
you know.
that property that you were talking about was transferred to from James, is it James Omer?
Yes, and that was
That was in
probably early
2002.
2000s.
2002?
Yeah,
And that's attached to I say the backside. It's
yeah,
not the
attached or
road front
whatever,
side.
yeah. And that's something Pop had us, because they was wanting to do something on the septic system so we just done it as an attachment deed.
Now, that warranty deed with respect to the property that's not on the road, McGuire Road, that was done in 2002.
Do what now?
That was done in 2002 or the early.
From James, yeah, it's up behind us here,
Okay.
yeah.
Now, the warranty deed and the trust deed, or the warranty deed and the deed of trust, at least indicate on here that you said was it a family gift? Or
The
was it a
property
family
was.
purchase?
Her parents give each child 3 acres when they graduated.
And the deed of trust, the one that was with Family Homes, Inc., and the warranty deed was done in November of '99?
When they done the warranty deed, they advised us to do that because this was actually her great-grandparents' place, and it went from one relative to another relative, and they had us do a warranty deed. That way, nobody could ever come in and say that they was never paid or whatever.
And that warranty deed, or that warranty deed and the trust deed with respect to Family Homes Incorporated, that was done in '99.
It was, I don't remember. I remember we started on the house in 2000. I don't remember when we actually sat down with Family Homes. They finished the home in February of '01.
The invoices, I had a couple questions that you submitted at the November meeting. Not a lot of questions, but I do have a couple. The first set of those, I'm gonna call them the first set of those, are these little ones here,
Yeah,
these here,
okay.
and then there's 2 more.
And I don't know if I got the exact ones in order.
I'll show you.
Because we give all of them out, we just kind of made new copies.
Let me be sure. You can see these and make sure they're the right ones.
But back when I
They're
started,
different
I was,
colored. I have little ones, I have a.
Yeah.
And then I have,
I'm not a real book person,
let me show you.
so,
That's okay. I just want to be sure these are the ones.
yeah.
Yeah. Is that them? Yes. Okay. Now, the ones, the reason, I'm trying to get the time frame down here. There's There's
Now,
one as far back as,
The reason these are scattered out in dates now is we just happened to find these in an old storage unit, and these are all that was actually salvageable. We didn't even realize we had it, but apparently when we moved from the trailer into the house, we had stored them.
it looks like there's one down here from June of 1992.
Let's see.
It's got Brink's Auto Sales, Cumberland, Morristown.
Let's see, May and August, let's see, January. Is it January? Okay, I see one 6/18,
That's it, yeah.
okay,
So this first set, I'm gonna call it the first set of these that have some of the, it looks like some stains on them.
yep,
It looks like there are four. Looks like there's 19, and I could be wrong, but it looks like there's 19 of these receipts from 92 to 98. And other than from 1992 to 1998, those that you brought us here, you said they were scattered throughout that time frame.
yeah,
Is that right?
yes.
Now, the next set I have, or the next one, is in July of 2001. Oh, by the way, I misspoke. There's a 1998 and a 97 invoices on over in there. They were kind of meshed together. But the next one I have here is July 11, 2001, February 20, 2000, June 9, 2001, and November 11 of 99. And that is, these are on this different kind of paper you see here.
Yes, yes,
They're blue, I guess. So after 1998, there's an invoice for November of 99, February of 2000, June of 2001, and July of 2001. So in that, during that time frame from 98 to 2001, were there any more of these invoices that you found?
nothing that's salvageable. And to my understanding, I thought all we had to do was show we was doing it prior to 1998.
And after that 2001 invoice, at least the ones that you presented in 2011, and I just want to be sure we've got everything, that after that date in 2011, the next one that we have is August 30, 2021.
That's when you got the ones with our actual printed heading and all, and
Well, I don't know if, is that, I may not have them then. Is that the ones you're talking about?
let's see.
There's only one, two,
What date did you say it was now?
hang on one sec, 3, 4. It's these here. It's, it doesn't have a heading on it. It says August 30, 2021, Stephen Wright on Snarterly Road.
Okay,
And then there's one that says January 2nd, 2022,
yes,
June 15, 2022, February 9, 2022. And then the next one that I have is on your letterhead. And it looks like that is January of 2023. And that's when there's 4 of them in 2023. Is that right?
yeah, I'm not seeing it here, but I don't know if we,
I'm not trying to.
yeah. I mean, we were just trying to show a pattern.
And so after the,
You see, I've got a contract with IAA, so for the last almost 3 years, I pull every day, 5 days a week for them.
after 2001, did you, those 2001 invoices, did you have any other invoices after 2001 through August of 2021? Or I'm sorry, January of 2021?
We did have to go back and look, and I don't know. I mean, we hunted and dug for what we found on the older ones.
And what I was trying to get in my mind is the timeline, and that if that next date was June of 2001, after that last 98 invoice, and there are 4, then the next one is not until August
I mean,
30th, 2021.
Up to last 2.5, 3 years, I didn't do this every single day, because there'd be days I'd be on the road, you know. And a lot of that stuff that I brought in on the truck was under a 1099 on a lot of stuff, where I run it through where I was leased to another company.
And just the last questions, with respect to the IRS, did you, as far as your business, because I don't know what you do other than this, did, during this time frame, if you were reporting
Yes, I
income from your
reported, but I
taxes-
run it
No,
under,
I'm not saying you did.
well, I'm saying I've done it under Chris Mash Trucking. It was easier to keep it all
Okay.
under trucking.
So the
But now, we just changed the insurance here, last 2 or 3 months. And when we went to this different insurance company, we did have to go back to our MC numbers and all and change it over to towing.
the tax, the tax document, you said you filed it under Chris Mash Trucking. Is that a company, a corporation?
No,
or
it's
is that
just,
you?
it's
Sole
just me.
proprietor?
It's under my IEN number and all.
And so the Chris Mash Trucking Company, or that would, you would have shown the IRS, that would have been your primary income for that. I'm not talking about your wife's, I assume you
No,
filed.
no, it's just mainly, yeah, I'm the, she does all the office stuff, yeah.
Okay. All right. Nothing else, thank you.
Does anyone else have any questions for Mr. Mash? Yes, sir.
Chris, I was looking here, because there's a time in here that goes 20 years down here that we have nothing at all.
Well, like I said, I was under the impression we just needed receipts prior to 98 to
Okay.
show we were doing it before the zoning went into effect. And maybe we misunderstood, like we misunderstood on the asking for a variance, you know.
Well, the only thing I was looking at is that,
You know, like I said, a lot of my stuff has been on 1099s,
okay,
and you can't hardly break it down. With IAA, I'm on a 1099.
okay. Sorry. Only thing I'm thinking is that you can be grandfathered in a non-conforming use, but you can lose that grandfathering if you cease to use that for, I think it's for a year's time period.
6 months.
6 months, okay. And so that's what I was trying to establish here, if you had been consistently done that. And all I'm going on is the information that you provided me. And the other thing is there was 2 things that I was looking at. One is that there are times when you towed vehicles and and then there were times when you stowed those.
Stored them,
Stored
yeah.
some of the same ones.
Like on Brinks, when
Right.
those got stored back in them days, that's because he's repos. He didn't want there
Okay.
till so many days later.
Right. But it's just since that, it seems like the last time that you had anything that showed that you were storing cars was all the way back in 2000, and that you haven't.
Well, I've got this letter right here, though, from Bobby Kinsler, that he, I've been picking his up at auctions for years. Matter of fact, I had one at the house just the other day for about 4 or 5 days. I picked up at auction for him. Even when I had the road truck, I had step decks with ramps, 53 foot. You grab, 3 cars on it with no problem. Sometimes 4 if they're small enough. He's over out of Sneedville. He put his number on. Y'all's more than welcome to contact him. Then we got a letter here from another feller that I've done business with for years.
Do you have any of those receipts from Mr. Kinsler showing that sometime in the
See, a lot
2000s?
of, some of that, when I was doing it with a big truck, I was having to run it through my Landstar deal, where I was leased to them. So we was having to, it's kind of a gray area there when where I was leased to them, I also had to run it through them on the trips and stuff. See, now I've got my own insurance and cargo insurance and all. Before, when I was leased to companies, you were running under their insurance on some of that stuff, and you was doing it with a big truck. So, And then, I got this from Joe's Garage there. I've done business with him for years doing his towing.
Would it be possible to go back to the company that you was leased to and pick up information that could fill this void in?
It'd probably be almost impossible. I've been gone now for over 3 years. They was a big corporation, it was Landstar Ranger. We done everything from military to, we had to run it through agents. Like Bobby's stuff, when I done it, I'd call an agent friend, hey, I'm doing this. He'd give me a trip number. It was a whole different thing, you know what I'm trying to say.
Would there be documentation though of where they were paying you?
It'd be all just on trip numbers. It's not really gonna break down anything.
Would it have dates on it though?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you, to be honest, because it's, you gotta figure that was over about a 16-year period I was doing that. Plus I done tolls on the side, and I'm the world's worst of paperwork, A lot of times I'd write a receipt out and she's chewed me out more times than one for not getting where they need to be, I'm trying to be as honest with y'all as I
know.
can be
We're
here,
just trying to make, we're trying to make the decision.
And the reality is, I figured getting on the state county rotation list, I might pull, I hope, 4 to 5 a month, maybe. And like I said, they don't have to look like some of these local ones we got. A good example is Cherokee Tone over there now that Shane's took over. I mean, he's really cleaned that place up. It looks good from the road now. And also when look up the definition of towing there, it broke down, tractor trailers and all. And a good example is Chestnut Street. They don't call themselves towing, it's transport. So, I highlighted there where, it says, disabled or otherwise imposed vehicles by tow truck, other familiar cargo leisure vehicles, necessary government stuff. It even tied up, semis and stuff. But all the years, I've always either had a wrecker, rollback, I've had a Brent trucks, I've had step decks, flatbeds. I've hauled nuclear stuff, it's just unbelievable stuff I've hauled over the years.
I'm just looking for a pattern.
Yeah.
That's all I'm looking for. And, I understand non-conforming uses, and then I understand, as far as that goes, the grandfathering of non-conforming uses, but I also understand that once you stop that non-conforming use for
That's what I'm saying, I've
term.
not stopped it with these letters, I don't,
Yeah.
I don't feel that's saying I stopped it, that shows what's going on.
Yeah, but I understand.
Did anybody contact any of these people?
Well, I'm not disputing the evidence that you've given me here, as far as that goes. It's just the time lapses that's in between.
Most companies
Yeah.
don't keep receipts more than 5 or 6 years.
I understand that, yes, I do.
The problem is we have to rely on these because we don't have a business license at that address. That's typically what we have for a grandfathering.
I mean, if I know the business license, all the problem was, I'd have got one years ago,
It's too late now, that's.
it's,
But that's typically what it is.
Yeah.
It's a business that's in a, licensed business that's got all their.
well, my father-in-law run a business, trucking business out there since 1982. To my knowledge, he never had a business license. Most of the guys around here with trucks and stuff probably don't have a business license, because when a lot of the stuff cross over state lines, it kind of changes the ball game on some of the stuff, Because, matter of fact, in that conversation with that lady I had there, on that, I was telling you, the county called, she couldn't understand why I had one name on the doors, and I had a truck with a Tennessee title, and I think at that time I had this is either Illinois or Indiana license plate, But it's a different ball game. But, I'd bring vehicles through, drop them off, I'd go on with other stuff. I'd done LTL freight, I might have a car on, I might have, a piece of equipment on, it could be pipe on one end of the truck. So, you know, I've done this, like I said, ever since 92, and I went full-time sometime 93, 94. I don't remember when I walked away from the plant. So,
If you had more time, do you think you could produce some paperwork to fill in that gap?
I don't know. We went through a bunch of stuff trying to get what we found. Like I said, we didn't even know we had them just by luck. A lot of it got destroyed, and we put a lot out in an old box truck there at the house, and an old Penske truck, and the roof leaked, and
Yes,
a lot of stuff's burnt. You know.
There was one other thing that I'm looking at is that I think that you've given me enough to know that you have used a truck from that property to tow vehicles. But for me, there's two parts to this. There's one is the towing, the other is the storage. You may have proved to me that you have towed, but to me, the storage stopped a long time ago.
There again, in Bobby's letter, he stated that, you know, I would pick them up and store them for times to either his convenience or the last one I was talking about just the other day, I picked up at the auction. It stayed there at the house a few days, and this will happen. I was getting a,
These cars that they all run, right?
no, not all
You
of
know
them.
you can't have but 5 that don't on your property.
Well, no, some of them don't run. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Don't get no more than 5. Huh? Well, that's what I'd say.
No, I'm talking about the ones I brought in
Yeah,
that I
mean,
moved over for
the
like,
ones you got on, you can only have 5 that don't.
all of mine run at the property
Yeah,
that I own that
yeah,
runs,
yeah,
yes,
that's what I'm asking.
yes.
Yeah, that's
There's
what
one, matter of fact, there's one there at the house that's, I bought for parts, it's sitting
Yeah,
out
I mean,
front.
I thought
And I
that-
took the motor out of it, you know.
I ain't never had no complaints out of Chris and Vicky, I mean, over my 25 years here.
And as far as I know, have you had any complaints from my neighbors
No.
over
no.
this?
So you came in and asked me, I would've never, I knew Chris drove a truck for years, I mean, I knew that. But I wouldn't have thought of
You know,
him.
I'm not doing the
repo.
repo business no more. I don't want nothing to do with the repo business. You know, and the only reason I want to be on the city, county, state rotation now is the state here just a few months ago raised it $375 for a call. So if I pick a wreck up at front of my house, it's $375. You know what I'm saying? It's,
But you don't do that now, right?
no, right now I pick up for the for IAA. I've been doing that for almost 3 years now. I can show you vehicles on my phone right now that's logged,
I
that I've
think
done
that
for,
Had you done that, I would've already had some,
oh, I bring some of them in and
these
they'll,
record people tell on themselves. I mean, they don't.
well,
like
the minute I go on the state and city, that's when they get,
Yeah, they don't
that's
like
when they get
competition.
butthurt. Everybody thinks you're trying to get in their gravy
Yeah.
bowl.
I-
And
I-
believe me, boys, there's
He's
no
right on
gravy
that.
bowl when you're paying, you know, 2 trucks right now is costing me over $1,000 a month insurance,
I understand.
you know. But when
The
I'm
ones
hand-
that I've moved over the years,
When I'm handing it-
the other record services told me.
you know, when I'm handing out checks, for thousands of dollars at a pop, it, well, right here's a good example I picked up yesterday. I picked this up over at Newport yesterday, 08 F-350. I handed them folks $2,710.37 for 16-day storage and a record bill. You know what I'm saying? It's, not being on that list, I'm assuming it's cost me between $6,000 to $8,000 a month, I'm guessing. Because it's $375 for the tow. If you get called out on rotation, it's $40 a day storage.
Well, let me
And
ask
that's
you
what the
this,
state says.
how many cars do you storage you have? At
Right
one-
now,
at
it
one
just-
time?
No more than 1 or 2 at a time. Yeah,
That's why you got no complaints.
yeah. But I'm willing to build a fence. My property's up off the road. I've got that spot up beside the shop that I could fence in with a good
Well, and-
fence.
And like I said,
It'll never be seen from the road.
you know, I've known them forever, seems like, but I can't treat them no different than anybody else, so.
So, when it says you can store 5 vehicles
Well, that don't run.
that don't run,
Yeah. I didn't think
do
they
you have
had.
to have title to those 5 vehicles?
Well, yeah, they would own them, but, yeah.
But now if I get on
I don't
rotation
think-
list, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
I
that's a
can't tell you if it's gonna be
different
4 or
ballgame. That's why I
5 or,
think you need to
but
be
I'm figuring I'm gonna get 4 or
commercial
5.
property.
I just feel like our big grandfathered in, especially if the one over you spoke of was, I should be, cause
Well, that
I was
before
doing
my time.
repo before he ever done it. His brother was doing it there,
That
not
was
him.
before my time, and
Yeah.
that was the guy before me
Yeah.
made that decision.
But in '07, before that, he had the property out there where Weigel's is now. I don't know how you got grandfathered in when you was out there in '07 and,
You left, the guy's dead.
You know what I'm
He did it,
saying?
so hell with it.
but, you know, I'm just asking to be fair about it.
That's what I was trying to do.
And I've tried to look at spots, but the problem is,
It's hard to find, I told you.
to my understanding, Dumpling Valley cuts the county up on the rotation list. I do not want to be on the Danridge side. There's too many record services over there. Where I live, it'll put me over on the Jefferson City New Market side. Right now, there's just, as far as I know, it's Casper's and Cherokee and Norton's, you know. Plus, I don't want to mess with that interstate. I went the other night, picked my boy up right up here before the 417, and I thought we was gonna get a killing before we get the truck loaded, you know. Yeah, the state wouldn't pay the bill after I went and got the state truck because I'm not on the state rotation list. They give me permission to go get it, but they refuse to pay the bill today. So you see where I'm at, it's kind of a,
Have y'all talked about rezoning? Did you talk about that?
Well, yeah, I told him up front, I didn't think. they
Yeah, he
did
said that
commercial
probably
in
wouldn't
the
happen.
wire, you know. If I thought they would, I'd have had them in front of you a long time ago.
I just feel like, you know, we,
Commercial down there.
I mean, where we're at, all them houses across the road, none of that was there years ago. You know what I'm saying? He ought to be able to speak this. I used to have demolition derby cars. He was at one time 15 or 20 scattered on the hillside, where I run demolition derbies for years. You know,
Would you be willing to ask for that property to be rezoned?
yes.
I just didn't think there was a shot at that. I mean, talk about spot zoning.
Well,
How big is it?
listen.
Well, they'd have to cut their house off because you can't live in commercial property.
Well,
I mean,
that could be the
you got
case.
3 acres?
Yeah, it's 3 acres, but my shop's right there at my house, and that's where I'm gonna put the yard.
You'd have to
Houses aren't
do
there.
some
so-
figuring.
All I'm worried
Because you
is
can't
that
live in commercial.
you have a place out where you store them. If you don't store them in your garage,
No, they'll be outside there.
if you have a specific area there that you,
Right beside, in the map, Mr. Drennan give, I mean, I've got a spot down by the road, but I wanna keep it away from the road.
well, as long as,
There's a section down there that I have filled in for years, an old Cinco. It's almost filled in. I could put them down there, but I don't want them down there next to the road where people could,
I understand that.
you know, I don't wanna be like going down the road to here close by and seeing a mess.
All I'm saying is that when you look at all your avenues that you have, and that is one, and if, here's the thing, and if it goes through, and as far as that goes, and it's no, then we're back, here as far as that goes. But, I just think you need to try every avenue that you can.
Well, you know,
And getting the
me,
property rezoned, to
I
me,
feel,
is-
that we should be grandfathered in, is the way I feel about it. I understand that, but I just feel, especially when,
I know where you're coming from. I'm just looking at the data you give me, and it's just, there's spans in there when there's nothing here that I've got showing that, and I'm trying to keep the continuity for the whole thing. You know, for me, when you get to 2000, I feel comfortable, but from 2000 on, it's almost, you know, I've got a 20-year period in there when there was nothing.
well, the biggest thing then was my trucking. I still done towing, but I might not do 1 or 2 a
Right,
month.
I understand.
You know what I'm saying?
But the 1 or 2 a month would have kept you in, to me, the continuity to it. So, well,
I don't know.
The thing
It's-
is too, you're talking about doing a different scale of business, you know, in terms of establishing a grandfather, that's murky here. I really actually don't 100% know if he establishes grandfather from my standpoint, without a continuous business license, but maybe you do. But you're talking about doing a much bigger scale of business, doing a bona fide record service with the license.
But I've been doing it for 3 years.
Well, you've been doing small
Constant for
scale.
the last 3 years. The only difference
Small
is,
scale.
you know, I ain't been getting if I get a wreck right now, in the last 3 years, if I got a wreck, it's been owner's request. You know, it's gotta be an owner's request.
That's a different scale of than doing a proper bona fide commercial record service, you know, so.
I don't know how you figure it's how many more bona fide it is. I've got MC numbers, IEE number, I've got, insurance, I've got garage keepers. I've got 2 trucks on the road. I don't know how much more you can get into being, you know. The good thing everybody should be happy with is my road trucks are gone. At one time, there was 3 or 4 tractor trailers running in out there. They're gone. You know, I used to come in McGuire Road sometimes 12, 14 foot wide, 15 foot in the air, and 100 feet long when I was coming in on the weekends. You know, I done a lot of tanks, fiberglass tanks. I probably didn't weigh, probably didn't have 15,000 pounds on the deck. But you know, all them years, nobody ever complained.
If we were able to fill those dates in, and I'm addressing the board right now, if we were able to fill those dates in and show that continuity and that continuation throughout those years, that would help making this decision a whole lot better to grandfather in. And then we would have record of that moving forward, is why we made the decision. And if anyone else come along, they would have to
Do the same
do the same thing. Everybody understand where I'm going at, Pat? I'm asking you the question. To help us in that, would you be willing to go back and dig?
I can try. I
And
can't
postpone?
promise I can get you a handful.
And I can't promise that it'll be grandfathered either. But if we had that, it would help making that decision, I think, a lot easier for all of us.
So what are we needing right now then? So everybody understands.
Well, where I'm at, and correct me if I'm wrong in asking for this, but to fill that date in the 20 years that's vacant for running the business. To fill that in with some evidence that that stuff's still going on, and not disputing your word at all. I believe what you're saying, believe you've been doing it. But if we make that decision based on your word, we're gonna have to make the next decision based on the word of that person as well. But if we've got that evidence, and this is what we base the decision upon, we can use that moving forward if the same evidence is
I
provided.
mean, I can't promise how many we'll find or anything. You
And
what
I
I'm
don't know
saying?
if we can say it has to be 10, it has to be one every 6 months.
You know, I'll do what we can
stipulate
do.
that. Yeah, look at it.
You know, and I can't guarantee that there'll be one for every year. You know what I'm saying? I can do what I can do. That's all I can do. I guess the frog in my throat's the issue of that one being grandfathered in, and his brother was there, not him.
Yeah.
He was over in '07, you know.
Yeah. And
Because his lifts is in my shop right now.
I don't dispute that a bit, and
You
speaking
know.
for me, I would have
And
to
I don't
speak.
want to name no names, and I don't want to get nobody else involved. It's just,
Yeah.
you know, that's a little frog in your neck.
I would go along with them, I wasn't anywhere around it back then.
Well, I understand.
You know, and that's,
Yeah.
and I'm not disputing your word on that, but.
And if I noticed that, I'd have got a business license years ago, but, you know, I done Dixie Pond, I done Brinks Auto Sales, I done Discount Motors till Philip Moore passed away in '96. I
Right.
done all of his towing, I went to the sales with him, picked up, I done his repossession work. And that's the same thing that Tony started out with.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, do we need to go get one now?
If we approve it, yes.
Well,
I mean, I've been averaging,
don't know.
that has
I've been
nothing
averaging
really to do
25,
with.
30 cars a week.
That's a total separate.
You can get one, but it doesn't mean you can operate. I mean, that's just to.
I mean, I've been averaging 25, 30 cars a week for almost the last 3 years just at IAA, you know, picking up cars. And all that's only $10.99. I can go back in my handwritten books, you know, and show you the cars and where I picked them up, but it's just a simple little thing for me to put what zone it's in, because they pay in zones, you know. But that's only $10.99. And on the 1099, it does not break it down on what each one,
Yeah, that's, we have no.
So get this proof, is there, are we just gonna grandfather in, or do we need to get it rezoned? And if we have to get it rezoned, what consists of that?
Well,
It's just,
that's April.
yeah, well, if you would come back before the planning commission and make a request, and then they would make a recommendation to the county commission. And then the county commission, then at their next meeting, would vote on it. And that's what it would be.
We should be planning in January and county commission in April.
I mean,
So
not
it-
trying to drag anybody in it, Melina there, she's known us for years, you know. Yeah, I mean, what I'm saying, I was doing it when Carmichael was doing it. Matter of fact, Billy John Curitan, before he bought into Cherokee Towing, he had one of my trucks for over a year and a half using it when he was doing his car lot business and repoing. You know what I'm saying? It went back that many years.
And again, not disputing that, but I think where we're at right now, we've got to decide to give you the opportunity to, ask for this to be postponed to the next meeting and gather more information, or withdraw it from tonight and look at rezoning
Okay?
and seeing what happens there. That's pretty much where we're at.
So right now, we need to try to get something, you're saying, from,
Yeah,
Well-
we've got to make a motion here
Okay.
first on that, somebody,
So,
to give the opportunity to do that.
so if the grandfather then it's gonna cover the volume we talked about doing with the storage out in the future.
If you grandfather him in, I ain't got a problem with it. Pretty much.
That would, yeah, he can,
If
if you say that it's a legal, legit business, whatever any other towing service is allowed to do, he's allowed to do.
the only difference is if I'm allowed to do it there, I'm gonna build a fence. There's not gonna be no vehicle seen that's wrecked from the road. They're gonna be, my shop's a metal shop there. I'll build a fence with that same kind of metal.
How long do you keep rent cars? I mean, and if you're.
It can be I understand you gotta keep them up to 60 days before you can do away with them, whether some reason, Tennessee's got a law, if you have insurance, the insurance has to get them out. But, you will run into them that, whether it's a DUI or God knows what, or, that you kinda held on to. But they don't have to look like a junkyard either, you know what I'm saying?
I assume if you grandfather him in, then he's gonna be wanting something from us, right?
Yes,
To give to whoever, it's the state or whatever, to get on that
yes,
record list. or
yeah.
whatever.
And I had to build a fence before I can get on that list.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I can't get on the list till I get a fence built, they gotta come out and inspect the fence, they gotta inspect my trucks.
But you'll need a letter from us.
Yes,
Okay, yeah.
yes.
Okay, everybody understands what we're talking about here. What's the pleasure of the board? And I need it to form a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that on this, that based upon the information that was provided there and the gaps that are vacant there, that I would prefer for Mr. Mash to see if he has more information to bring back for this board, so that, if on these, in that period right there, to see if there has evidence shown that he has continuously used this as a business, as a towing business, and as a storage business for towing, since 1998. And, so, that's,
Okay.
so I'm not sure if that takes care of the, what was there appealing to the decision, but, that's my motion.
Okay. We have a proper motion. I'm not gonna try to repeat it. Just for messing up, is there a second? Okay, everybody understands what we're voting on, giving the Nash's more time to gather information, bring back with us to show as what's up. Okay. Parliamentary, we okay in that, parliamentary
As
procedure?
I understand it, you're just making a motion to provide him the opportunity to bring additional evidence.
Come back next
That
week.
is correct.
You're
That's
not
what
making
has
any
to-
rulings.
No rulings.
Telling
No
him
rulings.
What is
No rulings.
sufficient, what is insufficient.
Yeah.
You're just telling him, you're giving him that opportunity.
Give him that opportunity. And you understand?
What you need is something showing I continued on after,
Through that time frame from 2001 to,
Show that you're in operation.
and I'll try to get these two that wrote letters to see if they do have any receipts.
every 6 months, next week.
yeah, and it needs to be
Yeah,
something without a 6 month gap.
If you
if
cease for
possible.
6 months, you lose it, okay? That was my That was what I was looking at there, and that's why I was trying to follow through on this. They had me a spreadsheet out here on my timeline, and then, like I say, but since 2001, you didn't have anything in there where nobody paid you to store any vehicles. Now, I'm not saying you didn't store vehicles, you just wasn't anything in here in the evidence that you presented to me showing that that was the case. And so I'm not disputing your word on it, I just didn't see it in the evidence that you presented, and that's what I have to go on.
Okay. We have a motion, have a second, to allow the masters more time to gather information, bring in to prove the case to us and why they should be grandfathered in. Everybody understands? Is there any more discussion? All those in favor, let me know by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Ayes have it.
The other thing you need to consider is the rezoning. You've got nothing, I don't think you have anything to lose for trying to go get
And
that.
and we're okay to try that if that's what it takes.
Well, I'm just saying, here's the thing with the rezoning, okay? Your neighbors are gonna be involved on the rezoning. And if your neighbors are really good with that, as far as that goes, okay, then they should let the commissioners know that they're okay with it. Now, that being said, we have C2 zoning in different parts of the county, as far as it goes through the years, that were there. So, yes, it could be, they could be looked at it as like, as spot zoning or whatever. But in this county, because the way that we've grown, there are instances of C2 zoning that are in different spots.
Not
So,
on a back road like that.
well, all I'm saying
That's
is.
why I told Chris and them.
Yeah, he did tell me that. And we have tried to get a spot, and we thought we had that locked in at James Carpenter, and
Okay,
last minute he backed out. And
well, I'm just saying that's an option.
false hope.
I'm not. I'm just telling you that's an option to
Yeah, it's an
look at,
option, yeah.
you know.
It's a long shot.
Well,
Yeah, I mean,
Well-
it looks like the
Better off
other's the
finding
better
them.
option, you know.
I'm just trying to let him
No,
cover
I
all his
agree.
bases.
Yeah, it's a shot in the dark.
Okay. All right.
Okay, next item on the agenda. Variance request for a garage to be constructed in front of the house located at 2512 May Road. Thank you, Doctor. I'll start over again with that. Variance request for a garage to be constructed in front of the house located at 2512 May Road, Talbot, by John S. and Linda R. Miller. Do we have the Millers here?
And, Jordan went up there this evening and looked at the property.
Yes, sir.
I didn't see a problem with it. Jordan can speak, looked fine to me on what they're doing. It's already a little, garage area, and he's not building that much in front of the house anyway.
Correct. And it's just gonna be for personal use, just to store everything out of sight. You know, we have trailers covered in tarps, and we have, a four-wheel bike back there covered in tarps. We have an old shed back there that was there when we bought the place that's falling down. It's an eyesore. I fell through the floor of it, as a matter of fact, when we moved in. I'm just starting to walk again. But there are buildings in the back, so we cannot build in the back. Our septic system is in the back. And it's the only property that we have that's actually level enough that we can do something.
And I did ask the environmental department, they didn't have no problem with it. They got plenty of room for drain fields, duplicate if they need them. It's a one field that they got now, so they didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah, I concur with Tim. I don't have any issues with it.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have any questions for Mr. Miller?
Mr. Miller, I was wondering the questions on the, as far as with the environmental, because when I pulled up your plat and I was looking at it here, originally there was a reserved area in where you were wanting to put this building that the environmentalist had put in there as a reserve area for septic system. And so Tim, I talked to Tim about it, and he did speak with the environmental office, and he said, no, that you had plenty of other room for a reserve area there, so that would not be a factor in building your building there.
Okay.
Yeah, the septic system's actually on the other side of the house on the far end. so-
Yes, sir. This was just as a reserve area, that he said you have other room for reserve.
Correct.
Any other questions? Okay, what is the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to grant the variance request to the garage be constructed in front of the house based upon the conditions that the other buildings, the topography, and the location of the septic line, that this is the only reasonable spot to be able, the garage.
Okay, have a proper motion, we have a second? Second. Any more discussion? All those in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
And that was the last item on the agenda. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, Mr. Chairman.
We have a second?
Second.
All those